Now you're starting to see some dimension, right? Here's where they're gonna go in the door, and here's where the fence is, and here. It's such a tight little piece of land that every little inch is squeezed in to make it work.
Hey, Raleigh. Curious about how things really work in your capital city? You've got answers straight from the experts that make it happen. Welcome to Your City Answered. I'm Katie Dombrowski. Before we start today's show, I'd like to remind our listeners that this podcast runs on questions. So visit raleighNC.gov and search podcast to send us your questions today. On this episode, we're diving into one of the most exciting transitions happening in Raleigh's arts and entertainment scene. The Red Hat Amphitheater is gearing up for its final season at its original home, and at the same time, construction is already underway on its brand new future location. To help us unpack what's ahead, I'm joined by Kerry Painter, Executive Director of the Raleigh Convention and Performing Arts Complex, to talk about all things Red Hat Amphitheater. What's happening at Red Hat Amphitheater?
A lot. A lot is happening. The last year has been really about structural and utilities and underground and dirt moving. And so it hasn't been very sexy, I admit. But now it's starting to be a lot more fun. We went on a walk last month, and you can walk on the back sidewalk now that will be the artist, what we call the artist walk. So it's all of their dressing rooms and catering. And now you're starting to see some dimension, right? Here's where they're going to go in the door, and here's where the fence is, and here. It's such a tight little piece of land that every little inch is squeezed in to make it work. And so it's getting some real dimension. The stage is poured, the concrete stage, so you can see the front of the stage now, and they're starting to level the ground in front of it where the bowl will be in the seats.
Okay.
What's stunning is if you go stand on the sidewalk for a little field trip, you can look and see this concrete wall, and it's the edge of the stage, and it is so close.
Okay.
I always knew it was
Exciting.
closer to the back row, but now you can really tell it's there. It's really great. So next month, steel will be starting. You're starting to see steel come out of the ground, and that's when it's going to start to look like something, which is really exciting, right? Getting some building up. An amp is strange because it's not a building where you see all this steel and construction. You see a lot of leveling.
So you're talking about construction, the phases, and we're going to start to see the new Red Hat Amphitheater come out of the ground. How are we approaching construction phases in a way that reduce disruptions for the people who maybe live and work near the construction site?
We have started a newsletter actually called Behind the Fence, which I thought was kind of cute. And you can sign up for it. It is on our relocation website, and it's put out by the contractors. And so it talks about, shows pictures you can't maybe see from the road, but some drone shots and things happening. And so you can watch the development happen. It also says things like, next week we move a lot of dirt, and there'll be more dust, and we're going to do our best not to. Or this week we close this street. We have tried to be so cautious and careful about the AMP streets and lanes, not disrupting everything as we've had to lay, sewer and water lines. Where it went off the rails a little bit, so to speak, is when we had the fire recovery, because that meant closing roads for cranes and air handling and kitchen repair at the same time we were building an AMP. So it might have felt like a lot more to citizens, but hopefully now that the building's almost back together, it's going to feel like a lot less.
Okay, that's really exciting. And I love the nickname, the AMP. I don't know if people know that that's what everyone calls it
Yeah.
internally, but I think that's cute.
It's such an industry word, amphitheater shortened to AMP, and it never occurs to me till I write something or say something and people are like, "The AMP." Huh.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're hearing about where things are now. Is there anything else that is shaping the timeline for relocation of the amphitheater right now?
It's been really emotional in the last 2 weeks because we were suddenly opening an amphitheater for our last season. And every day we stand out there, we think next year we'll be standing over there. It's really crazy to
Right.
even imagine. And this amp, it's I kind of joke that it's a little bit duct taped together with used equipment, but it's become so beloved and so successful on a piece of land that originated with some used trailers and then turned into this. And so we are very cognizant not to forget how beloved this amp is and how it has to bring all that and more to the new one. So We think about it every day. We are, as I said, starting steel. And so about June, you're going to see the topping. And, most people put a small tree on the top or a
Yes,
flag, but we're going to
yes.
do something much more fun because we're an amp.
Okay.
So we're going to hoist up something else on the top beam after we sign. It's a secret.
Okay.
And then we're working on a time capsule. People have been resurrecting all these old things from this amp, right? The first koozie and the first this and that. And so people are kind of bringing us these collections, and we're going to put a time capsule into the building of the memories of the first amp.
Okay, I
and
love
it's going to be a
that.
guitar case. So we're going to embed a guitar case in the wall. So we're excited.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
really fun and creative. I love that idea. So as you think about the new amp and the new location, how are you and your team approaching the programming and operations for the new location, or even for the current location? Like, you've got two
Right.
things to think about,
We've
right?
got two things happening at once. So we're already trying to figure out how do we get rid of, dispose of the things on the amp presently. The trailers are going to need a new home, the all the parts and pieces. And so we're already looking at where can we share them in other city locations. The very fancy flushable porta potties that we have will go to Walnut Creek.
Okay.
So we know we have about 2 weeks from the end of the season before they come in and start demolishing.
Oh, wow.
That's all. So in 2 weeks, we have to end the last concert and then find everything we're keeping a new home or store it or move it. And then they start demolishing for the convention center.
Okay. Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
crazy.
So just moving
I'll
right
let
through all
that.
this. All right. So you kind of mentioned this earlier, but have you gotten feedback from artists or performers about the new location? And, like, are they excited about it? Do you get anything from them? Or have you heard anything
Well, I
about
don't
that at
really get to
all?
talk to them
Okay.
to that level.
Okay.
But I know that they're working really hard to think about what should we open with,
Mhm.
what should be the right artist.
Okay.
And
Okay.
some of the artists who come every year, like our friends who made the Big Bang, the Bare
Mhm.
Naked Ladies,
Mhm.
they write songs about the train. And so now the train's going to be directly on the back of the amp. So
Okay,
you're
cool.
excited to see how they're going to morph more into the new atmosphere. So we're thrilled about that. Live Nation's looking at, how do we start a new season? How do we keep this new tradition of such a diverse assortment of music? So that's important too.
Mhm. Okay, cool. So going back to the current amp in this last season, are there any artists or types of shows that you are really excited about this year?
Well, the number one excitement is Sting. Without
Okay,
a doubt.
yes,
The minute
very
Sting went on
exciting.
sale, everybody started calling us. He is a 17-time Grammy winner. So I think
Wow.
that's amazing. And, so many of us lived this music the first time around. So we're excited about that. And I can't believe we have him in our wonderful little tiny boutique amp. So it's
Amazing.
really exciting. But then there's a bunch of other stuff. Alabama Shakes. People can't stop talking about that.
Love
And how
Alabama
excited it is.
Shakes.
It's already, it'll be our first sold out of the season.
Amazing.
And it's going to be really wonderful. And we have a lot of other different genre, right? Country. We only oddly started putting country in this amp 3, 4 years ago was our first country concert,
Oh,
which is
wow.
really
Okay.
weird because summer amphitheater season is country season.
Right.
And so Red Hat just never had any. So now we do all the time, and we're really getting these up and coming country artists. So that's exciting. We're thrilled for that. And there's just a real genre mix. So that's great.
So what are you excited about? What should people be excited about, either for this season or for the new amphitheater, just in general? Like, what should people just be really pumped about right now?
So if you haven't been downtown, the new hand that says love for loving our amphitheater is up on the street. You can take a selfie with it. It's 20 feet. It's very exciting. And an LED sign on the outside of it. We have a lot of new offerings in the concession stand to commemorate the end of the year. So we have commemorative Yetis that you can buy and then get discount drinks all season. We have a Tito's fundraiser where $1 per drink goes to the Wake County Animal Center.
Okay, I love
And then
that.
we have these new ready-to-drink cans that have palomas and margaritas in them. We're getting people more ready to use the different way of purchasing concessions as we think about how the new amphitheater is going to have concessions.
Okay, sounds like it's going to be a good summer. Got a question you'd like us to dig into? We'd love to hear it. Visit raleighNC.gov and search podcast to submit your questions. Plus, catch every episode. Thanks for listening to Your City Answered, where your questions lead the conversation. Brought to you by the City of Raleigh.